Picture this for just a moment. You wake up tomorrow, but as you try to get out of bed, a wave of deep, piercing pain rips through your joints, sharp and unforgiving. Your fingers ache and seem to freeze as you fumble desperately with a bottle of pills, hope sinking beneath the fear. Is this what every day will look like from now on? The worst part is, the real trigger behind your relentless arthritis pain may be right in front of you, quietly making your inflammation worse, little by little, each day, never announcing itself, just lurking in the background. By the end of this video, you'll learn about specific plant-based proteins considered capable of easing inflammation and potentially bringing relief. Even if you've spent years locked in this exhausting struggle, I ask that you watch until the last moment. Did you know your joints could be slowly inflaming as you read these very lines? That lingering ache and stiffness isn't just some inescapable part of growing older. Once you cross 40, your body silently shifts, turning up inflammatory signals without warning. Nothing obvious at first, only a creeping heaviness and pain that builds. It's this chronic inflammation, inch by inch, that's robbing you of movement, of autonomy, often without you realizing it's happening. Have you caught the signs? Stiffness that clings for more than half an hour after waking, swelling that makes your hands or knees tender to the touch, tasks that used to be simple now a painful challenge for your fingers, pain that lingers long after any activity. These symptoms aren't just harmless results of aging, they're the clear evidence of a condition millions share, but that too often goes unnoticed or unspoken by typical medical approaches. Even the Arthritis Foundation now recognizes how deeply nutrition shapes joint inflammation. Please share your thoughts with me. Unlike medicines that simply numb the ache, while the true disease rots you from the inside, dietary shifts go for the source, the silent fire in your joints. Inflammation creeps unseen, quietly tearing apart your body's delicate machinery until one day the agony is impossible to ignore. New data from Harvard Medical School exposes a chilling truth: nearly 60% of people with arthritis might reclaim some relief if they knew which foods were feeding their pain. Even more disturbing, every day may bring worse suffering, as ordinary meals contain hidden enemies working against your body in secret, often beyond your awareness. If relentless joint torment haunts you or someone you love, this video could be your only way out of the dark, and you may never get another warning. Before you see the methods behind this potential escape, consider latching onto our channel and letting the alarm bell call you back for each weekly update. Sometimes the information you miss is exactly what you needed to survive. Yet, buried beneath the gloom is a revelation: your chains of misery can be broken. New science is smashing the lie that your joints are doomed to collapse. One pivotal clinical trial revealed that 78% of those suffering saw their pain recede into the shadows, often within a mere month, by changing exactly what they ate. In a moment, I'll show you the precise plan researchers uncovered. Certain plant-driven proteins now stand out, armed with relentless compounds that drive inflammation away, even for those trapped in the grip of advanced arthritis. In the dim corridors of medical research, a chilling consensus has taken hold: arthritis, with all its pain and misery, is propelled by an inner fire, one fueled by inflammation lurking unseen in the joints. Yet there's an unsettling truth: most ignore this fire can be snuffed out or fed, depending on what we choose to eat. Imagine if there were plant-based proteins so potent they could rewire the very experience of arthritis, reshaping the pain and agony that stalks sufferers daily. Food isn't just another remedy, it's a weapon that, when wielded correctly, can silence inflammation in ways pharmaceuticals alone never could. I'm about to pull back the curtain on 3 plant-derived proteins that every arthritis sufferer should embrace. And the second, whispered about in hushed tones, rarely mentioned in the open, is perhaps the most disruptive force in the arsenal. But let's start with number 1: lentils. Dismissed by many as unremarkable, lentils hide a power most never realize. For those tormented by arthritis, these simple seeds hold something rare: the ability to nourish without awakening the body's inflammatory demons. They don't provoke the damaging responses common with animal proteins. Instead, they offer nutrients that pass through the body by different, less destructive metabolic routes, leaving behind less of the toxic aftermath that often worsens joint pain. As the years advance and our bodies grow more vulnerable, these choices become less a matter of preference and more a matter of survival. The wrong protein source isn't just a poor choice. It's an invitation for the darkness of inflammation to take hold. Adding lentils to your meals can support your body's repair of damaged joint tissues. Unlike red meat or dairy, Lentils don't provoke the kind of inflammation that can make arthritis worse. One of the standout benefits for people with arthritis is lentils' high magnesium content. When the muscles around aching joints become tense, they put even more strain on already vulnerable areas, boosting pain levels. Most people aren't aware that magnesium actually acts as a natural muscle relaxer for your body. Here's something you don't often hear in the doctor's office. Recent clinical research suggests that up to 68% of people with arthritis may have low magnesium. By getting enough of this mineral, you help relieve joint tension, make movement easier, and even dial down certain kinds of nerve pain. Those stiff, stubborn mornings where your joints just won't cooperate could well be linked to a magnesium deficiency. But lentils aren't just about magnesium. They're also a great source of potassium, another nutrient vital for joint health that's frequently overlooked. Potassium helps your body flush out extra sodium, and keeping sodium in check is key. Too much of it can trigger water retention, bloating, and more swelling around inflamed joints. If you've noticed puffiness in your hands or knees, it may be related to sodium buildup. Boosting your potassium intake with foods like lentils can help your body shed this excess sodium and, as a result, ease joint swelling. Less swelling almost always means less pain. The truth is painfully simple. One hidden reality for so many dealing with arthritis is that blood sugar swings often worsen inflammation, but most people never realize it. When meals spike your blood sugar, your body silently adds fuel to the fire, releasing inflammatory agents that leave your joints aching more, stiffening up, making it all heavier to bear. Lentils are different. Their fiber slows down how sugar seeps into your bloodstream, creating gentle waves instead of sharp crashes. That steadiness, although subtle, gives your body a short reprieve. Less roller coaster, a bit more ease for worn-out joints. Then there's folate, just a vitamin, often ignored, yet vital for people living with pain. Folate keeps homocysteine levels down, so inflammation doesn't creep higher. Most don't talk about it, but without enough folate, discomfort can deepen quietly. Lentils, thankfully, are rich in this humble nutrient. Eating them regularly brings small changes, glimmers of relief that, over time, might mean more than anyone else realizes. Perhaps you're left wondering how to actually bring lentils into your routine. It's not always easy to start, even when the advice sounds good. The bright spot is that lentils are forgiving. You don't need to be a chef. Toss them in a soup or stir them into a stew. Little by little, gentle changes might soften the edges of daily pain. Lentils are surprisingly adaptable, and you don't need much confidence in your cooking skills to work with them. They slip quietly into soups and stews, adding a touch more substance and nutrition. It's easy to imagine stirring together a lentil curry with turmeric, garlic, and onions. Fragrant, soothing, but carrying a kind of melancholy warmth that makes the kitchen feel a little less empty. Lentils, served cold in salads with whatever chopped vegetables you have, and a splash of olive oil, can feel at once wholesome and oddly stark, as if each bite fills you up but leaves something unfilled. If you're cutting back on meat, lentils are there to step in, tucked into tacos, shaped into wraps, or mashed into vegetable patties. No matter how you season them, savory, spicy, or even lightly sweet, they take on the flavors you surround them with, almost too willingly, and they're patient too. They don't ask for much, not even an overnight soak. Rinse, add to water or broth, bring to a boil, and simmer while time passes, as it always does. 20 or 30 quiet minutes. Unlike so many other legumes, lentils are gentle on the stomach, leaving you just a bit less weighed down. For aching joints and bodies that don't move quite like they used to, pairing lentils with turmeric, spinach, black pepper, or a fresh lemon offers some hope. Small comfort, but earnest. Each minor change, like adding lentils to the week's meals, is a step forward. Practical, affordable, but somehow bittersweet in its simplicity. Next time you wander through the store, don't overlook the lentils. Try a new recipe or two. Watch for any shift in how you feel. And remember that sometimes the simplest changes are the ones that quietly keep you going, even if they never quite fix everything. Solution number 2: chickpeas. Let's descend together into the shadows of nutrition, into the overlooked and quietly potent world of chickpeas, one of arthritis's most unassuming adversaries. You may recognize these pale little orbs lurking at the bottom of a salad or brown relentlessly into hummus, but don't be fooled by their benign reputation. Beneath that plain exterior lies a kernel of power, nutrients loaded with enough force to dull persistent aches, soothe inflamed joints, and weave a subtle web of resilience through your body. possibly delaying the advance of pain. Understanding how chickpeas intervene in the relentless march of arthritis can change everything you thought you knew about this humble legume. Like their close cousin, the lentil, chickpeas deliver a steady supply of plant protein, an alternative to red meat, which is all too often guilty of fueling inflammation's fire. The clean, primordial protein in chickpeas repairs and fortifies muscles, building a last line of defense for vulnerable joints. Strong muscles turn into a bulwark, keeping the worst of the agony at bay, reducing the ominous pressure threatening your comfort every day. But what truly sets chickpeas apart resides deeper, almost hidden, a storehouse of polyphenols swirling with antioxidant power. These compounds wage a secret war on the free radicals that attack your cells, igniting an endless blaze of inflammation. For those whose bodies are already caught in arthritis' suffocating grip, chickpeas provide a flickering hope, quelling oxidative stress before it can feed despair. In the quiet gloom of chronic pain, chickpeas wait patiently, an unassuming ally armed with tools to tip the balance, if you dare to let them. The polyphenols lurking within chickpeas serve as guardians, shielding your cells from unseen threats, tempering inflammation, and arming your body with vital defensive compounds. Each bite becomes a fragile barrier around your vulnerable joints, staving off the creeping decay. Yet the darkness deepens. Chickpeas harbor a potent secret vitamin C, a crucial element many suffering from arthritis fail to acknowledge. This vitamin fuels the relentless creation of collagen, the hidden connective tissue that permits joints to glide smoothly and cushions the bones from brutal friction. When this collagen decays and fades, the cushion crumbles, leaving behind a chilling symphony of stiffness, grinding agony, and relentless pain. Without enough vitamin C from sources like chickpeas, your body struggles to sustain the fragile collagen network that shields your joints, allowing the slow erosion to continue unchecked. This is no mere masking of symptoms. It is a desperate attempt to rebuild from within before the damage becomes irreversible. Like a silent ally, magnesium lies within chickpeas, a mineral overlooked and undervalued yet crucial to the battle for joint survival. It seeps into tight muscles, unclenching their iron grip, quelling the overactive nervous system that amplifies pain, and fortifying bones against the storm. When those muscles tighten like coiled traps, joints crumble under the unbearable weight. Magnesium's subtle release brings fleeting relief, granting the weary musculoskeletal system a brief reprieve. And it whispers promises of better sleep, an elusive sanctuary for those haunted by chronic pain, where only in rest can the battered joints hope to recover. The creeping affliction may assault relentlessly, but within these humble legumes lies a flicker of resistance, a chance to fend off the dark decay, even if only for a time. Chickpeas stand out for their high fiber content, which plays a significant role in arthritis management. Fiber helps regulate blood sugar, not just for energy levels or weight, but also because high blood sugar can fuel inflammation throughout the body. Eating a lot of refined carbs or sugary foods tends to ramp up inflammatory markers, which can make arthritis symptoms worse. Thanks to the natural fiber in chickpeas, sugar gets absorbed more gradually, leading to steadier blood glucose and helping keep inflammatory surges in check. Hummus is just the starting point. Smooth, delicious, and perfect paired with crisp veggies or whole grain crackers. But the options go way beyond that. Roast chickpeas for a crunchy snack that beats most processed stuff. Toss them into salads, blend into soups or stews, or stir-fry them with colorful veggies and anti-inflammatory spices like turmeric. They're excellent as the base of a curry and work well with grain bowls featuring foods like quinoa, greens, avocado, or sweet potato. Their subtle taste means they soak up any flavor you throw at them. If you love to bake, chickpea flour is a top gluten-free option for pancakes, breads, and even cookies. Whole chickpeas work well blended into brownies or veggie burgers too. There's plenty of room for creative meal ideas, and the filling nature of chickpeas can help you stick to weight goals. Another key part of managing arthritis, chickpeas also score points for affordability and availability. You don't need to splurge at specialty stores. They're easy to find in nearly any supermarket, whether you want to buy dried in bulk or grab a few cans for convenience. If you opt for canned chickpeas, rinsing them well helps wash away extra sodium. When you have the time and energy, cooking dried chickpeas at home can save you a bit of money. How often should you include them in your meals? Try adding them a few times per week to start. Eating them regularly can add up to real benefits after a while. Some people choose to make them a daily staple, which is fine. provided your body handles them well. Your joints notice the steady supply of nutrients, and your digestive system quietly welcomes the fiber. Maybe your energy finds a little more balance as your blood sugar settles. Living with arthritis can be exhausting. It's hard not to feel worn down by the constant ache, the slow-growing stiffness, and the way simple activities slip further out of reach. Sometimes, a cheap can of chickpeas feels insignificant in the face of it all. But these tiny legumes offer interventions that reach beyond the pharmacy. They invite you to reclaim a small sense of agency at the dinner table. It's easy to overlook such a humble food, but with every meal, you're allowed a brief hope. Maybe you gain a bit more control over aching joints when planning what to eat or wandering past the shelves at the grocery store. Chickpeas can seem like an afterthought, but quietly, they hold a power that sore joints desperately need. If you have the motivation, try preparing them in new ways and find out if any spark a little joy or comfort. Eating chickpeas regularly might not be a cure, but maybe it's something that can help your body, your wallet, and your spirit, if only a little. Next up, let's look at another plant-based option, tofu, which may come as a surprise for many dealing with arthritis. Let's turn our attention to a final, perhaps unexpectedly unsettling, source of plant-based protein, tofu. Tofu, the very word divides people. Some embrace it eagerly, while others hesitate, haunted by uncertainty over how to prepare it. But for those living with arthritis, or those who watch the gradual decline of someone close to them, tofu has a reputation for quietly intervening where other foods cannot. It isn't flashy, nor rare, yet it holds within its pale, unassuming flesh the exact nutrients that reach in to muffle inflammation, shield vulnerable joints, and attempt to restore battered mechanisms, if only you let it. Why tofu? Its origin lies in soybeans, among the sinister few plant foods to offer complete protein, the elusive collection of 9 indispensable amino acids that your body will never conjure up on its own. Just imagine every movement, every whisper of a joint, every throb of a failing muscle depends on this protein, especially as age tightens its grip. Muscles that aren't fed begin to fail, and every misstep piles torment onto aching joints, a punishment with no end in sight. Tofu, disturbingly simple, carries an anti-inflammatory power that animal flesh often cannot touch. Its influence subtle but persistent. But the story doesn't end with protein. Tofu's shadow stretches further, harboring omega-3 fatty acids, fats often praised for their heart-protecting magic. Yet here, they promise something darker, a weapon against the ceaseless workings of inflammation, omega-3s. Slow the chemical onslaught inside you, perhaps dulling the relentless stiffness, the swelling, the ache that creeps through bone and sinew. Most people run to fish for relief, never guessing that tofu contains these same rare oils. For anyone turning away from the ocean's harvest, tofu waits, quietly promising relief in its cold, white silence. Tofu brings more than just simple nourishment locked within its pale. Yielding flesh is a significant concentration of calcium, a mineral whose reputation is mostly spotless. Until you look a little closer, people with arthritis, especially those haunted by osteoarthritis, often obsess over joints and let bone health fade into the shadows. But bones and joints are chained together. When your bones lose density or begin to crumble from neglect, your entire frame falters, stability wanes, and your weakest joints begin to bear an unspoken load. This is where tofu becomes a silent ally. Its dairy-free calcium offers a strange solace to those who cannot stomach milk, or who avoid dairy in hopes of banishing inflammation. But the plot thickens. Some tofu harbors an added darkness, vitamin D, often slipped in quietly, acting in concert with the calcium, building and binding the very architecture of your skeleton, and influencing the quiet wars waged by your immune system. You'd be surprised. Many feel the creeping ache of arthritis without realizing a stealthy deficiency in vitamin D shadows their body, deepening their pain. A further twist, tofu doesn't just whisper of minerals. It carries isoflavones, plant-borne compounds that mimic certain human hormones. They don't cause imbalance, but instead manipulate your inflammatory response from within, sometimes reducing pain and limbering rigid joints. Cultures that regularly consume soy appear less afflicted by joint misery, though the relief is never total. A reminder that tofu is an uneasy ally, not a miracle, of course. When first confronted by this ghostly white block, many recoil at its seeming blandness, fearing it will offer more punishment than pleasure. But tofu, like many things that seem innocuous or insipid, waits to be transformed, assuming the flavors of whatever you dare to combine with it. It's a blank canvas, one easily turned towards the light or the dark. Tofu's quiet adaptability is perhaps its greatest strength. Left alone, it's almost nondescript. But when surrounded by garlic, ginger, lime, soy, or chili, it soaks in whatever it can, becoming something else entirely. You can stir-fry it, roast it, grill it, or crisp it in a pan, each method delivering a slightly different result, but all of them still marked by the tofu's tendency to reflect the flavors around it, not its own. For those unfamiliar, starting with extra firm tofu is simplest, squeezing out the excess water and letting it sit, briefly marinated, just long enough to pull some taste from the world outside. Toss it in a curry or a salad, maybe fold it into a wrap. It can take on almost any role, but never fully claims the spotlight. If softer textures feel more comforting, silken tofu waits quietly in the fridge, creamy but almost invisible, dissolving into smoothies, pureed soups, or dairy-free desserts. It lends thickness and protein hidden behind other, more assertive ingredients, never really calling attention to itself. Even in savory sauces or sweet puddings, its benefits arrive without fanfare. Tofu also offers a kind of practicality. It doesn't demand a specialty store or a hefty price tag. You'll find it tucked on grocery store shelves, pressed, silken, extra firm, waiting for a place in your meal plan, week after week. Unopened, it lingers patiently, lasting far longer than most fresh ingredients. A protein source easy to overlook, always ready but rarely at the center. How often to eat it? There's no secret rule. You might find it becomes a quiet regular in your kitchen, called upon not for its character, but for the way it accommodates whatever you need, whenever everything else runs out. If you tolerate soy and don't have allergies, you might want to start by including it in your meals twice a week. Combine it with other anti-inflammatory foods. Turmeric, dark leafy vegetables, or whole grains like brown rice and quinoa are great options. This blends a range of helpful nutrients for joint health, from high-quality protein to calcium and omega-3s, all in affordable and easy-to-digest forms. Dealing with arthritis can feel all-encompassing. The persistent discomfort, stiffness, and growing difficulty with everyday tasks wears you down. Yet, making slight adjustments to your diet, incorporating tofu regularly, for instance, has real potential to help. It's not about perfection, but about making steady progress. Prioritize foods that help your body heal, ease pain, and let you regain some control over your well-being. Tofu, humble as it is, can play a vital role here. Whether you're leaning into plant-based eating or simply looking for added joint support, try making tofu part of your routine and experiment with different recipes. Sometimes, the best solutions for arthritis don't come from a pharmacy. They're already in your pantry. Tofu is a surprisingly effective option for managing arthritis symptoms and is available to just about everyone. If arthritis is a concern for you, don't forget about lentils and chickpeas too. Each offers dense nutrients to combat inflammation, safeguard your joints, and assist the body's natural healing. Skip the pricey supplements and complicated regimens. Focus on simple, nutritious foods that truly help from the inside out. Try adding one of these protein choices to your meals this week and see if your joints feel any different. It's those small, consistent shifts in your eating habits that tend to create lasting, positive change. What you decide to eat today sets the stage for how you'll move and feel tomorrow. Unlike typical arthritis remedies that only offer temporary relief by numbing the symptoms, these foods go deeper by targeting the root causes of inflammation, though the key is including them in your meals regularly. Don't put off making changes until your discomfort is intolerable, your movements are restricted, or you're struggling with everyday chores on your own. Start bolstering your joint health now by adding these simple foods to your diet. The honest reality: keeping your joints comfortable and staying mobile doesn't have to rely solely on expensive prescriptions. Sometimes, the solution is as close as your pantry, stocked with nourishing, inflammation-fighting ingredients. You have genuine influence over your own pain and inflammation management. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. It really supports our Health Wisdom channel. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll stay up to date with our latest tips. I'd love to hear your input. Which of the plant-based proteins I mentioned are you most likely to try first? Will you take a step toward